You can do everything right according to a YouTube video, complete 30 college credits in record time, and then discover your university does not need half of them. That is the nightmare version of degree acceleration. The courses were real. The work was completed. The transcript may even show college credit. But your degree evaluation is still sitting there with requirements marked incomplete. This is why the final chapter of the College Credit Playbook is not about moving faster. It is about avoiding the mistakes that make speed useless. Most students do not lose time because alternative credit does not exist. They lose time because they move before understanding the policy attached to the degree. They hear that a college accepts Sophia. They complete Sophia courses. They hear that CLEP can award college credit. They take CLEP exams. They find a list online showing that study.com transfers somewhere. They start completing courses. Then the registrar evaluates everything. 3 courses become electives. 2 duplicate credits already on the transcript. 1 exceeds the transfer limit. Another does not meet a major prerequisite because of the grading basis. The student earned credit. The student did not shorten the degree. Those are 2 completely different results. Chapter 13 of the playbook identifies 15 major pitfalls that can slow an acceleration plan or erase the savings the student expected. The first 3 are transfer caps, residency requirements, and duplicate credit. Start with the transfer cap. A transfer cap is the maximum amount of outside credit an institution will accept toward a degree. This is where the phrase "my college accepts Sophia" becomes dangerously incomplete. How much Sophia credit? How much ACE recommended credit? Is there one combined alternative credit limit? Does the university separate traditional transfer credit from exam credit? Does the major have a smaller limit than the university? Does the college accept 90 transfer credits toward a bachelor's degree but restrict how many can come from non-traditional providers? You need the actual policy. Suppose a bachelor's degree requires 120 credits. You already transferred 60 credits from a community college. Then you discover Sophia and complete 45 more credits. You now have 105 credits from outside the university. That does not mean the university must apply all 105 credits to the degree. If the school has a 90 credit transfer maximum, something has to stay out. Now the question becomes which credits. If you planned correctly, the outside credits filled required categories first. English, Math, Science, Social Science, Humanities, Major Support Requirements, Approved Electives. If you planned badly, you may have 27 elective credits fighting for a limited amount of elective space while required courses remain unfinished. This is why I keep repeating the same rule. Do not collect credits. Remove requirements. The playbook recommends getting both the degree audit and transfer cap in writing, filling required categories before random electives, and tracking every planned course through posting. Your spreadsheet should be able to answer one question for every course. What requirement is this removing? If your answer is, I don't know, but I heard it transfers, stop. That is not enough. The second major problem is residency. Residency in this context does not necessarily mean where you live. It can mean the number of credits you must complete directly through the institution awarding your degree. A university may accept a large amount of transfer credit and still require a specific number of institutional credits. Some schools may require the final block of credits to be completed through the university. Programs may also have their own residency requirements. This creates a problem for students who discover alternative credit late. Imagine you have 36 credits remaining. You find 36 alternative courses that appear to match your requirements. You complete them. Then you learn your university requires 30 credits in residence and you have only completed 18 institutional credits. You still need institutional coursework. The outside credits may have satisfied academic categories, but the residency rule remains. The degree audit does not reach 0. This is why residency belongs in your plan before you begin accelerating. Ask how many credits must be completed at the school. Ask whether the final credits must be completed there. Ask whether the major has its own institutional credit requirement. Ask whether the capstone must be taken in residence. Ask whether a certain number of upper-level credits must be earned through the institution. The playbook recommends reserving upper-level major courses and the capstone for institutional completion while using approved alternative credit primarily for lower-level and general education requirements when that structure fits the school's policy. The third trap is duplicate credit. This one is painfully easy to create. You take Introduction to Psychology through Sophia. Then you prepare for the CLEP Introductory Psychology exam. You pass. 2 completions. Potentially 1 set of degree credit. Why? The school may consider both learning experiences equivalent to the same course. You do not receive 6 credits simply because you completed the subject twice through 2 different providers. The course names do not have to be identical for duplication to occur. Introduction to Sociology and Principles of Sociology may map to the same institutional course. College algebra from one provider and a CLEP mathematics exam may overlap depending on the college's equivalencies. Business courses can become especially messy because several broad introductory courses may post under similar lower-level business electives. Before starting a course, look at what you already have. Not just the courses you remember. Open the transcript. Open the degree evaluation. Look at transferred credit. Look at exam credit. Look at courses in progress. Then look at the equivalency for the course you're planning. The manuscript uses Sophia Introduction to Psychology and CLEP Introductory Psychology as a direct example of potential duplicate credit and recommends checking the audit and equivalency list before enrolling. If 2 options fill the same requirement, choose one. Pick the option that works best for your time, cost, and learning style. Do not do both. Now we reach a different type of problem. The course transfers. The school accepts it. You need it. You are almost finished. And the grading process slows you down. Sophia courses with touchstones require manual evaluation of assignments or projects. The playbook warns that grading delays can become a problem when students wait until the end of a subscription period to submit required work. This is a planning problem. Suppose your subscription renews in 3 days. You have completed every automated section of a course. 1 touchstone remains. You submit it. Now you're waiting for grading. Your billing date arrives. The course is not complete. You either renew or deal with the consequences of the unfinished course under the provider's current rules. The savings strategy just changed because you planned around instant grading for work that was never instant. When you start a course, identify the manually graded assignments immediately. Do not wait until the end. If a course has several touchstones, plan around them. Complete the first one early enough for evaluation. Work on material you can continue while grading occurs. Use your active course slots intelligently. The exact grading timeline can change, so check Sophia's current guidance. The larger rule is simple. Manual grading requires time. Put that time in the plan. Proctoring can create the same kind of bottleneck. Study.com, Straighterline, CLEP, and DSST may involve proctored testing under current course or exam rules. Students sometimes finish the learning portion and then discover they are not ready for the final process. The webcam does not work. The computer does not meet requirements. The identification does not match the account. The testing appointment is unavailable. The testing center has limited dates. The student needs a quiet room and does not have one. The student assumed the proctoring fee was included and did not budget for an additional cost. The playbook recommends dealing with proctoring at the beginning of the course rather than the end. Understand the testing requirements, test the equipment, verify identification, and account for possible fees. I would go further. If you know the final is proctored, investigate the process the day you begin. Do not wait until you are ready to test. Find out whether you need an appointment. Find out what equipment is required. Find out what identification is accepted. Find out whether scratch paper is permitted. Find out whether a calculator is permitted. Find out what happens if the internet disconnects. You should not be learning the testing rules 5 minutes before the exam. Now we reach one of the most expensive mistakes in the entire book. The credit transfers as an elective. You needed it to satisfy a requirement. This is the articulation problem. A provider may offer an ACE or NCCRS recommended course. Your university may accept ACE or NCCRS recommended learning. That does not automatically tell you how the course will apply. The school may award 3 credits. Those 3 credits may land under free electives. If you needed statistics, the statistics requirement may remain incomplete. This is why accepted for transfer is not the same as satisfies my requirement. The manuscript warns that without a verified equivalency or articulation, outside credit may post as elective credit instead of replacing the intended course. This is the question you need to ask. Not, do you accept study.com? Ask, how will study.com course Mathematics 101 apply to my Bachelor of Science in this catalog year? Exact course. Exact degree. Exact requirement. If the school publishes an equivalency table, save it. If a transfer database gives you a preview, use it as a research tool. But remember that the receiving institution makes the final transfer decision. If the requirement matters to your graduation timeline, get confirmation from the appropriate school office. Save the response. Policies can change. Course recommendations can change. Equivalencies can change. Your catalog year can matter. You need the information connected to your actual plan. The next trap is financial aid paperwork. You can qualify for aid and still spend weeks waiting because your file is incomplete. FAFSA submitted. Verification requested. No response. Loan offered. Entrance counseling incomplete. Master promissory note not completed when required for the loan. State program waiting for federal aid information. Institutional pledge waiting for the financial aid package. The student checks the account and says, my financial aid hasn't come through. The financial aid office is waiting for the student. The playbook specifically identifies FAFSA, verification, and loan document delays as problems that can hold up state and institutional funding processes. Check the portal. I know I said this in the financial aid chapter. I'm saying it again because students ignore the portal. Check the to-do list. Check messages. Check holds. Check document status. If the school asks for verification information, respond through the official process. If you plan to accept federal student loans and the required counseling or promissory note remains incomplete, finish the required steps through the official federal student aid system. If you do not understand a request, contact financial aid. Do not ignore it because the wording is confusing. Confusion does not close the task. Then we have the phrase last dollar. A student receives a state promise award and assumes a check for the advertised tuition amount is coming. It doesn't. The student gets angry. But the program is operating as designed. Last dollar programs generally apply eligible grants and other designated aid first, then cover the remaining eligible tuition gap according to the program's rules. If Pell and state grants already cover tuition, the Promise program may have little or no tuition gap to pay. That does not necessarily mean the program failed. It means there was no remaining eligible tuition balance under the program's calculation. The problem is that the student may still have expenses. Books, housing, transportation, food, childcare, technology, fees. The playbook warns students that last dollar tuition programs can still leave non-tuition expenses and recommends combining eligible aid, scholarships, and lower-cost resource options instead of assuming tuition coverage means every college expense is covered. This is why you need the cost of attendance budget from Chapter 10. Tuition is one line. Your life is the rest of the budget. Now we get into program conditions. Credit pace. Service hours. Mentoring. Post-graduation requirements. This is where free money can become complicated. A state scholarship may require a specific number of credits every year. A Promise program may require community service. Another may require mentor meetings. A tuition program may require continuous enrollment. A benefit may carry residency or employment conditions after graduation. The manuscript warns that these requirements need to be placed on the student's calendar immediately, not discovered after the program says the student is out of compliance. Read the award terms. The entire thing. If the program requires 30 credits per year, calculate 30 credits. Do not assume 12 in fall and 12 in spring automatically satisfies the program because federal aid considers 12 credits full-time. 24 is not 30. You may need summer. You may need another approved term. You may need to understand whether transferred or alternative credit counts toward the program's annual pace. Ask. If community service is required, schedule it. If mentoring is required, attend. If the award has a post-graduation condition, understand it before accepting the benefit. You are signing up for the rules attached to the money. Now let's talk about subscriptions. A $99 subscription sounds cheap. It can become $600 if you keep paying for it while completing nothing. This is subscription cost creep. The playbook warns that a slow month on an alternative credit platform can begin erasing the savings the student expected and recommends planning focused work periods rather than allowing subscriptions to run without a completion strategy. This does not mean you need to complete 20 courses in a month. It means know why the subscription is active. If you're paying for Sophia this month, which verified courses are you completing? If you're using study.com, which courses are mapped to your degree? If life becomes too chaotic to continue, check the provider's current cancellation or pause options. Do not keep paying because you intend to get back to it eventually. Eventually is expensive when it bills monthly. I would build provider sprints. Sophia period. Study.com period. CLEP preparation period. University heavy period. You may overlap when the plan requires it. But know what you're working on. The subscription should have a job. The next mistake sounds tiny. Your name does not match. Your college account uses one version of your name. The provider uses another. The transcript service uses an old name. Your email addresses are different. A transcript arrives and the school cannot immediately match it to your student record. Now your completed credit is sitting somewhere waiting to be identified. The playbook identifies name and account mismatches as a source of posting delays and recommends using consistent identifying information across the college, providers, and transcript services whenever possible. If your legal name changed, follow the institution's process for documenting it. If your transcript is under a former name, tell the registrar. Use your student ID when the transcript process allows or requests it. Track when the record was sent. Track when the school received it. Then check the posting. Do not send a transcript and assume the internet carried it directly into the correct degree requirement through magic. Follow it. The next problem is grading basis. Pass or fail. Credit or no credit. Letter grade. Students often assume credit is credit. Programs may disagree. A university may accept a pass/fail course for a general elective but not for a major prerequisite. A competitive program may require a letter grade in certain sciences. A nursing or health program may calculate prerequisite GPA using specific courses and grading requirements. A graduate program may have its own expectations for prerequisite coursework. The playbook warns that some institutions or programs may not accept pass/fail coursework for particular requirements and recommends verifying the grading basis before choosing the course. This matters especially when you are planning beyond the bachelor's degree. Suppose your current university accepts an alternative biology course as transfer credit. Great. You graduate. 2 years later, you apply to a graduate or professional program. That program wants a graded laboratory science prerequisite. Your transfer credit may not satisfy its admissions requirement. The bachelor's degree is complete. The future prerequisite remains. Your current degree is not always the only policy that matters. If you know your future goal, investigate it now. Nursing. Medical school. Physician assistant programs. Graduate business programs. Teaching licensure. Professional certification. The next institution or licensing body may care how you completed certain requirements. Accelerate the courses that make sense to accelerate. Do not force every course through the cheapest option if the future pathway requires something else. Then we reach upper level credit. Alternative credit is often strongest at the lower division level. General education. Introductory business. Introductory social science. Foundational mathematics. Some providers offer upper-level options that certain schools accept. But your degree may still require a specific number of upper-level credits. The playbook identifies upper-level credit gaps as a major pitfall and recommends reserving enough institutional or otherwise approved upper-level coursework to satisfy graduation requirements. This is another reason a degree audit matters. Do not look only at course names. Look at level requirements. A bachelor's degree may require a certain number of credits at the 300 or 400 level. Your major may require upper-level electives. Your concentration may require advanced coursework. You could theoretically fill every subject category and still lack enough upper-level credit. Imagine the audit says you need 12 elective credits. You complete 4 lower-level alternative courses. 12 credits post. Then you discover the degree required 12 upper-level electives. You filled the wrong level. Again, you earned credit. You did not remove the requirement. Look at the course level. Now we need to talk about scams. The moment you start searching for cheap college, scholarships, financial aid, and alternative credit, the internet notices. Suddenly, everyone has an offer. Guaranteed scholarship. Instant degree. College credit for life experience. No classes. No exams. Accredited worldwide. Pay the application fee today. Limited spots. The playbook warns students about unaccredited institutions and scholarship schemes that may charge applicants, make guarantee claims, or collect personal information. It recommends verifying college accreditation through recognized government or accreditation resources and avoiding aid offers that require payment simply to apply. A legitimate alternative credit provider is not the same thing as a college. Sophia does not award your bachelor's degree. Study.com does not become your university because you completed a course. CLEP is an examination program. The receiving institution decides whether and how the credit applies. That distinction protects you. If a website says its credits are accepted everywhere, be suspicious. Colleges control their own transfer policies. Even widely recognized credit recommendations do not force every institution to accept every course. And never confuse accreditation with marketing language. Verify the institution. Check the current accreditor. Check recognized sources. If you're considering a college, you need to know who awards the degree and whether the institution's accreditation fits your educational and career goals. Scholarship scams work differently. Some want money. Some want data. Some want you to sign up for marketing offers. A scholarship application may legitimately request personal and academic information. That does not mean you should enter your social security number into every website advertising a $500 award. Research the organization. Look at the application. Understand why the information is requested. Be cautious with guaranteed awards. There is no magic person waiting to unlock a scholarship if you send them a processing fee. Then we reach one of the most overlooked opportunities in the chapter. The associate degree. You may already have enough credit to earn. A student begins a bachelor's degree. They transfer. They earn more credits. They pass 60 credits. They continue toward 120. At no point do they ask whether the completed coursework satisfies an associate degree. The playbook calls this the missing associate stop-out conferral and recommends asking whether an associate credential can be awarded once the applicable requirements are met, even while the student continues toward the bachelor's degree. This depends entirely on the institution and program. 60 credits do not automatically equal an associate degree. The requirements still matter. General education. Major or program requirements. Residency. Institutional policy. But ask. Some institutions participate in reverse transfer processes that may help eligible students receive an associate degree after transferring to a 4-year institution. If you have already completed the requirements for a credential, why would you leave it sitting there? The associate degree may strengthen your resume while you're still completing the bachelor's degree. It may help with an employment requirement. It may give you a completed credential if life interrupts the bachelor's plan. Check the policy. Now look at the newer problems created when students begin combining tuition-free programs with alternative credit. A tuition-free college is not automatically a free life. The manuscript specifically warns that mission-based colleges and service-oriented institutions may require work or service and may not cover every living expense. We covered this in Chapter 10. I'm repeating it here because it becomes a planning trap. A student sees zero tuition, moves across the country, then discovers housing, transportation, or other living expenses make the option more expensive than attending a local college with tuition charges. Calculate net cost. Every time. The second newer trap is assuming a college tuition guarantee does not require financial aid paperwork. A school may advertise a tuition commitment for families under a particular income threshold. The student assumes the school already knows the family income. It does not. The program may require the FAFSA, a state aid application, institutional financial documents, or other forms under its current rules. The manuscript warns that institutional guarantees frequently depend on the student's completion of required financial aid processes. Do the paperwork. The third trap is assuming adult learner programs are automatically flexible. A program may be designed for adults. It can still have enrollment requirements. SAP. Continuous attendance. Eligible programs. Residency. Age thresholds. Previous degree restrictions. Adult does not mean rule-free. It means the program was designed for a different student population. Read the rules for that population. And finally, generous programs have conditions. A program can cover an enormous amount of tuition and still require you to complete a specific credit pace. Maintain academic progress. Remain in the state. Work in the state after graduation. Complete service. Renew annually. The benefit is real. So are the conditions. The manuscript's solution to all of these problems is what it calls a no-surprises workflow. Get the degree audit in writing, get the equivalency in writing, calendar the program rules, build a focused course sprint, and verify that completed credits actually post. That is the entire book reduced to one operating system. Degree audit in writing. What do you need? Equivalency in writing. How will the outside course apply? Calendar the rules. What deadlines, credit requirements, service obligations, and aid renewals must you protect? Build the sprint. What are you completing now? Post and verify. Did the credit land where it was supposed to land? Then repeat. You do not need to become an expert in every college in America. You need to become an expert in your degree, your school, your catalog year, your requirements, your transfer policy, your residency rule, your aid, your graduation path. Someone on TikTok can tell you they transferred 90 Sophia credits. Good for them. Are you attending the same school? Same degree? Same catalog year? Same transfer policy? Same existing credits? Same career goal? If not, their experience is information. It is not your degree plan. Someone on Reddit can say a course transferred. Transferred where? As what? Into which degree? In what year? Ask better questions. The internet is full of people saying, "My college accepted it." You need to know what it satisfied. That is the difference between acceleration and accumulation. Acceleration removes something you would otherwise have to complete. Accumulation gives you more credits. More credits are not always progress. Your degree audit is the scoreboard. If you begin with 72 requirements remaining and complete a course, check the audit. Did a requirement disappear? Good. Move. If nothing changed, investigate. Do not wait until you have completed 10 more courses. The faster you are moving, the more often you need to check direction. Think about driving. At 10 miles an hour, a small navigation mistake is annoying. At 70 miles an hour, the same mistake can put you 2 states away before you notice. Alternative credit increases your speed. That makes verification more important, not less. The goal was never to complete the most courses. The goal was never to finish Sophia faster than someone online. The goal was never to collect CLEP scores. The goal was never to find a college that would accept anything you threw at it. The goal is to graduate faster and spend less. Both words matter. Graduate. Spend less. If you spend less but never satisfy the degree, the strategy failed. If you graduate faster by borrowing an unnecessary amount of money, you may have ignored half the strategy. If you complete 90 transfer credits but 30 are unused electives, the number is impressive and the planning was weak. Build around the degree. Protect the money. Verify every major move. And when something does not post correctly, deal with it immediately. Contact the registrar. Contact advising. Provide the course information. Provide the equivalency you saved. Ask how the credit was evaluated. Be polite. Be specific. I took a class and it didn't transfer is vague. My official transcript for provider course X was received on this date. The published equivalency I saved indicated it would satisfy requirement Y, but my current degree evaluation shows the credit under free electives. Can you review the evaluation or tell me whether an additional department review is required? That is a useful question. Save the response. Update the spreadsheet. Then continue. You are not trying to eliminate every possible surprise from college. That is impossible. Policies change. Programs change. Your life changes. Courses are revised. Aid packages change. The purpose of the system is to catch problems early enough to adjust. If a Sophia equivalency changes before you start, choose another course. If a state program changes its eligibility rules, recalculate the funding plan. If a transcript posts incorrectly, ask for review. If your subscription is running while you're overwhelmed, deal with the subscription. If your GPA is falling, protect SAP before adding more courses. If your future graduate program needs graded prerequisites, take graded prerequisites. If you are approaching the transfer cap, reserve the remaining outside credits for requirements that matter. If you have enough credits for an associate degree, ask whether you have met the actual credential requirements. The plan should move. But it should not move blindly. The student who graduates fastest is not always the student taking the most courses. Sometimes it is the student who avoided taking the wrong ones. That is the final warning of the College Credit Playbook. Speed feels productive. Completion is productive. Know the difference.